Hello all, time for another poor boy painting video, and hearing my rambling and stuff like that. So I'm actually working on this Maulerfied dude that I got secondhand. Again, I know my setup is crap, but that's alright. We'll make do until maybe we move on to something else. If we ever move on to something else, we'll see. So got this dude secondhand. He's a little damaged, but we can, do some battle damage work on him. Today, I think I'm going to work on the flesh a little bit. So kind of here, around these legs, some up under the belly. I know these are like cables and stuff, but the way I picture it is to kind of have some kind of flesh there. Up here on the little army arms and around the head and stuff up here. I got a little bit of eye work done. So again, I got this guy secondhand, and as you can see, he's been stripped. He was painted something else before, but I don't know how keen I am on that kind of color on him. So my plan is I kind of want to make his fleshy bits a little gross, sickly, stretched and stuff looking. So we'll see how it looks. Either way, it'll be sickly. What I'm going to do, I think my plan is going to be, I've been mulling over for a minute. I'm going to use dark flesh from Vallejo and let that dry, and then I'm going to go over it with some pallid witch flesh, either dry brushing or just kind of doing maybe some type of highlighting or something. We'll see. And then later, once I get more being painted on maybe the armor and everything, I'm probably going to wash the skin using an oil wash with Winton oil color magenta to kind of get some reddish dark recess. We'll see how it goes. If not, I'm either going to use that or I'm going to use blood for the blood, or not blood for the blood god, I apologize, Berserker Bloodshade. I'm doing World Eaters. I probably never mentioned that before. They are my favorite legion, and maybe we'll talk about that here and there. But I'll tell you, Berserker Bloodshade is amazing. I would recommend it for all kinds of stuff. It can make skin look really gross, and it can be used to darken stuff down and kind of give stuff this nice deep red hue. Sometimes even it gives off almost like a burgundy color. And if you have like an old faded red, like maybe an old model, and you give them a covering with some of that stuff, you'd be amazed. It's like night and day. Like they wouldn't be able to tell, but like these little old berserkers here that I also got secondhand, little old school berserkers that I kind of saved, and they were so old that they were pale red, almost a pink. They were so pale, and I used some of that Berserker Bloodshade, and it really darkened them down quite a bit. I may do some more work on these guys. We'll see. But I got the World Eaters Combat Patrol. Maybe this way, because doing this upside down, doing this shit upside down like a poor boy. Have that set up like that, and then we'll take it from there. Well, without further ado, I don't know if I'll sit y'all through this whole process. Again, this total poor boy setup, so I'm just sitting here on my phone doing this mess, and so I don't know if I'll be filming a whole 30-45 minute video, however long it is. Again, I'm using my little homemade wet palette. So what I do, I talked about this a little bit before, but I probably didn't explain it the best. I take a cookie sheet or baking sheet, and I put 3 or 4 paper towels down, and I fold them up so it's kind of thick, gives a nice little bed under it, and then I put some water on it, and then I just take some parchment paper, the cooking type of parchment paper that you cook with, and put it down there. And it actually works extremely well. You'd be surprised. Probably put a little too much paint out here, but he is kind of a chunky dude. He's got some parts to him. And let's see how this goes. We're just going to kind of sit and chill. I got a little pack of cheapy Walmart brushes that I've been using. Some of these little guys, Royal and Land Nickel, you know, because we roll high dollar over here. That's how we do it. And but I mainly got these to do my oil paints with. I do have like a Winsor Newton brush that I use for more detailed stuff. The dogs are losing it out there. I also do some Citadel brushes every so often. Eventually, I'm hoping to get some lens brushes. Maybe get a weapon rack in there. We'll see how that goes. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of water to my dark flesh here. I decided to do the dark flesh. I do have the Vallejo basic flesh, but I decided to do the dark flesh because it kind of has like this orangish kind of color, whereas the basic flesh is kind of a pinkish. I don't know. Let me see if I can count the others. So this is the basic flesh, the Vallejo basic flesh, and it works really well also. But I kind of want this kind of sickly, yellowy undertone, almost as if you know, it's I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Jaundiced or something gross. So water it down a little bit. And I generally like to start with like some of the harder stuff first. So try to get this thinned down a little bit. Just some little hand. That's how you know you're a real painter, guys. You got it on your hands. So he has some little fleshy stuff down here on the feet. I'm gonna go ahead and put some down on here. Now my style, I guess you call it, for one thing, it's kind of a lazy style. A little bit. I go for kind of a grim, darkish style, and let me be absolutely clear, I'm not saying the grim, dark style is easy, but you can kind of get away with being a little messy. Or at least I feel like I do. Maybe one day I'll do a little video and kind of showcase some of the minis that I've done. Again, nothing great. If you look at this little part here, this dude, he has a toe broken off. Again, I got him secondhand, but I got him a pretty good price for a Mauler Fiend. I know they're not optimal or whatever, but for my army, I want to be able to field any unit that can be brought in the army. So that was my reasoning behind going in and picking up this Mauler Fiend, even though I'm sure, you know, competitively he's not the most viable, but I don't care. I think he's cool. I wanted some big chunky monster to work with me, my world leaders, so I got him. But anyways, back to the toe. I'm actually going to do some battle damage on that toe at some point, so I'm fine if I get a little whatchamacallit on it. Doing the fleshy bits, I don't mind being a little messy, because I'm going to touch up on the metal again at a later point after I'm done with all the flesh and all that. And in my experience, at least, I don't know if anybody else's experience, can't speak to that, but in my experience at least, the totally out of focus over here. See, real professional over here. It's pretty easy to cover up all the fleshy parts with metal and stuff like that. The metallics just seem to cover pretty well anyways. So I'm kind of covering up this old flesh here. And being that I'm using acrylics, that undertone may affect the color there a little bit. But again, that is fine with me. I mean, the way I think of it, these dudes, they're a Daemon Engine. They're not supposed to be all natty and all that. This part here, it kind of looks like the skin kind of grows over this little cog here, this little wheel, because he is part machine, as I'm sure you all know from Mauler Fiends. And that's where we're gonna take it. So this video probably ain't gonna be too long. Again, it's just me rambling. And if anybody happens to come across this, you know, feel free to leave some feedback. I know there's not a lot to go off of right now, but who knows? Maybe we'll keep doing this stuff. Give me something to ramble, talk about my thoughts on the painting. Maybe give my thoughts on 10th edition coming up. I'm extremely excited. I actually just got into the hobby this year. I've been a fan of the lore for ages. And the World Leaders, as I mentioned earlier, my favorite Legion. Favorite Legion and favorite Trader Legion. So, whenever I found out a Codex was dropping, I was like, well, you know what? Maybe this is a sign. Maybe this is a sign to get in. So I got in. And I dove in deep. And so now I got a pile of gray. And I never painted before. And it's been fun to learn. And very different to learn from anything that I usually do. I'm not very artistic. Little comment here on my setup. I am painting it much slower than I usually do because I'm trying to keep some stuff in camera. Generally I'm a little quicker than this, but you know, trying to give y'all something to watch. If I could stay in the view here, at least until I get something else going on, maybe I can offer y'all some better looks. But besides that, again, that's all these videos are, just me kind of rambling, tossing some stuff out there, and we'll take it from there and see how it goes. Well, we hit about the 12-minute mark. I'm gonna let y'all go. And maybe next time I touch base with y'all, I'll have all the skin done, or maybe just one portion of the skin done, maybe just one layer of the skin. We'll see. I'm gonna try to knock this out tonight. We'll see how well that goes. Well, all right, everybody. This is that little bit of work so far. Again, it doesn't look like much, but we're gonna get there. Have a good one, and catch y'all next time.